Hey, Chi-Town, and welcome back to Speak Your Mind Radio. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Queen Star, and I'm dope, funny, and goofy. And you guys just never know who I'll be interviewing next, because I love people and I love giving back. So join me on this magical journey from hidden underground talents to legendary film directors across the world. Or watch me get hyped off solo music reviews, from cool tracks to hip-hop beats, because we now stream it on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. It's Mzhiphop, and we live, baby. Time to represent Chicago's #1 podcast, Speak Your Mind.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome back to Speak Your Mind Radio. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Queen Star, aka Mzhiphop. And today, you guys, we have a really special guest in the house, from all the way from Johnson City, Tennessee. He's a songwriter, a rapper. You can even call him an actor, okay? And we're going to be talking about his new project, entitled Deshawn White, based on a true story. Now, the full album releases April 22nd of this year, so you guys might want to check that out. We're going to be talking about his new single, and plus we're going to take a deep dive into his personal perspective of being a musician in today's industry. Okay? So, without further ado, bringing up next to the mic, the one and only Deshawn White. How you doing?
I'm well. You know what's funny? You say the one and only. I wished I was the one and only, but my good friend is actually an actress. Her name is also, well, I wouldn't call her a good friend, but we play back and forth. She's also Deshawn White, but she's an actress. She's been on a few things on HBO, some Marvel stuff. She's also done some Law and Order Special Victim Unit episodes as well. So we go back and forth over who's the greatest Deshawn White on the planet. So she's kind of tied up with me in the Google search engine. So we're at war right now. But I'm coming for her though. I'm coming.
Heck yeah, I feel that. And shout out to Deshawn the second White. You feel me? That is so cool.
It was fun. It was cool because when I put up I created my IMDb, or I had my team create an IMDb for some of the acting stuff that I have coming up and some of the stuff I've done on soundtracks, and they have me as Deshawn White #2. I was like, she beat me. She got there first. I'm not the second. I think I'm older than her. I'm not the second. So it's a cool little competition.
Look, Bumble knows you're exhausted by dating. All the, must not take yourself too seriously, and 6'1" since that matters, and what do I even say other than, hey? Well, that's why they're introducing an all-new Bumble, with exciting features to make compatibility easier, starting the chat better, and dating safer. They've changed, so you don't have to. Download the new Bumble now.
That's cool. Yeah, definitely. Okay, I just want to ask you, since we're talking about acting so soon, talk about the single you did for the Spider-Man Away From Home soundtrack.
Yeah, so Spider-Man Far From Home, it was a crazy thing. Like, I got a beat, and I've always loved creating music for soundtrack and creating like cinematic style stuff. So we came up with this idea. It was like, hey, let's pitch a song to the new Spider-Man. I had gotten a tip that it was coming out like a year before it really came out to the public. My manager kind of swooped in and got some information back in the day. And so we worked on this song. This song was actually finished for over a year. So we had to figure out how we was going to pitch it, how we was going to get it into the hands of the people. So I came up with a plan. I was like, hey, let's just make the song, put it out, and see what happens. And it was crazy. I made the song, put it out. It got super popular. And then Sony allowed us to do an official pre-screening of the movie, and it was added to quite a few Spotify playlists as well. It was a super cool opportunity. The news came out. A lot of comic websites and blogs started hitting me up to talk about it. So it was super cool opportunity.
Yeah, that must have been really adventurous for you, to say the least. Did you write Control? Like, you wrote the full lyrics?
I did. I wrote all the lyrics for Control, and I produced about half of the beat. The rest of the beat was produced by a guy out of Atlanta named Jay Stone. And then I brought my partner, Alex Ryan, in. He helps with I mix and master as well, but I brought Alex in on some mixing, and I mastered it as well. So, yeah.
So you kind of like the jack of all trades now, because you mixing and mastering, songwriter, acting, rapping, everything.
Yeah, it's totally a gift and a curse. I'm not playing, especially like the mixing part, because I'm super critical. So, and that's one of the reasons I brought Alex in on the team as well, because to have a second ear, somebody who could go in, and I don't have to spend hours looking for problems that aren't there. Now I have Alex's ear, like, dude, you're tripping. Just the song's fine. So it's been good working with him.
Shout out to Alex. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Alex.
Yeah. Let's talk about that mixing thing. Like, you're kind of like a perfectionist when it comes to mastering your tracks. So how important is it for a musician to allow others to hear the final version before you actually put it out? Like, how important is that?
Oh, man. It's important. Like, it's important to get feedback and to get criticism, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
You know, I have the way I do it is I have a network of people that I test the song with. You know, I have like genuine supporters, some friends, some family, some people that I just don't really know, but I built with. I would call them, you know, people who follow my music. And I got a little network that I will test songs out with, because it's really important to hear what people are thinking. If there's any sounds that are popping out too loud, if there's any things that are inaudibles in the sense of you can't hear what I'm saying, was this lyric saying, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff is important to me personally, at least, because I want to put out the most polished sound that I possibly can and give the listener the best experience possible.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm very serious about it, because for me, I do it as music. For me is therapy, but it's also an opportunity to give listeners an experience of my heart, my mind, my life. So I'm bringing people in. Like, I'm most of the time, unless I'm doing something for like Spider-Man or writing for somebody, you know, my music is from the heart. It's my testimony. It's my story, where I've been, where I'm going. So I want to bring people in to the experience, which was one of the reasons I did Based on a True Story like a movie, because I wanted people to be able to close their eyes and like hear my heart, hear my pain, hear my victories, and even put a lot of sound effects, like movie style sound effects, throughout the album as it flows to give the listener that cinematic. I'm literally in the movie of Deshawn White sound experience.
That is crazy. I felt all of that. That was actually, yeah. That's what I felt when I listened to your single Burn. Like,
yeah,
you literally can close your eyes and visualize everything, even if you couldn't see the screen, down to the action scenes, the build up, the climax, everything.
Yeah, that's the vision, and I'm glad you're catching it. So that means I'm doing something right. So that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Let's actually talk about that single, because that right there was the introduction to the full-length album, the Deshawn White, based on a true story. And I want to ask you, like, from what point of your journey did you decide to write this song? Like, because it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, yes, I felt that. It's like a testimony,
Yeah. So, Burn, how did Burn come about? So I was working with a producer out of Chicago, actually, Mac 11. Shout out to Mac 11. He produced most of the album, and my next album. So he's been my go-to producer for a long time. But he sent me over the beat, and honestly, I was trying to figure out, like, I've dealt with a lot of betrayal, a lot of hurt, things we can get into later or not. But so I wanted to communicate that I know that a lot of people have been hurt and a lot of people are dealing with betrayal and pain. So I heard the beat and I was like, man, it really dug in, and it felt like, betrayal. So one of the first things that I said was, it be the people you love that really want you to fall. That's kind of how the song started. And I was like, ooh, yeah. So I kind of built around that, the people that's close to you, the people you love that you literally sacrifice for. As soon as you let them down, or as soon as you can't be there at their beck and call, they're there to turn their back, and they'll turn their back on you. In fact, they'll put the knife in you. So everybody, I think, has had a friend or so-called friend, family member, or person like that in their life at one point or another.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why, to me, the song was so relatable. When you're in the height of your success, and then, you looking around and the same people you thought were there before are no longer there. They're not visible,
Yeah. It's also a picture of me, I'm a believer in God. I follow Christ. So it's also kind of a picture of the Judas story. You walk with that. I mean, if you subscribe to Jesus as your savior or whatever, you think you got what we believe to be the most perfect man to ever live, yet he still had a close friend, one of the 12, his disciples, if you know the story, that was in his circle, that was willing to stab him in the back. And essentially, when you follow the narrative, it speaks of him being someone who stole out of the money bag. He was a selfish dude. And it came to really getting toward the climax of the story. And, Jesus is getting ready to go to the cross. This woman named Mary breaks open this jar of oil that was worth crazy amount of money, like 2 months or something crazy amount of wages, pours it over his feet. And Judas is like, yo, what are you doing, bro? Like that money could be used for the poor. But then the scripture goes on to say he was saying that not because it was used for the poor, but because he couldn't get his hands on it. He didn't have the opportunity to snatch that out the money bag.
Wow.
So that literally caused him to go to the ops. You know what I'm saying? Let's modernize it. He went to the ops and was like, yo, I got the drop. I know where this dude Jesus is going to be. Y'all look for him. Here's what's going to happen. Y'all give me some silver, put some shekels in my pocket, and I give you the tip. And that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's crazy, man. Like your closest people, when you aren't there for them in the way they feel like you should be, can literally turn their back on you, man. And that's where the song stems from.
Yeah, definitely said that in a nutshell completely. Yeah, I love the way you described it, like taking it back to God's perspective, Jesus' perspective, and how he went through it.
Yeah.
Speaking of, since we on a spiritual conversation right now, tell me, like, how did you bump from being on tour with Lil Wayne and them, feel me, to using your gifts and talents for the Lord? Like, how did you do that?
Man, it's a crazy story. It's gonna sound crazy, but you know what? Life is crazy. So I'm gonna give you the crazy, and it's my story. This is how it happened. So I'm on the road, and I think I'm in North Carolina. I'm in one of the amphitheaters in Carolina, either Greensboro or Charlotte, I believe. And I got VIP passes in my hand. I'm walking around, doing what young rappers do, looking around on the prowl, young man on the prowl. And honestly, it was like I fell asleep standing up. It's still hard to describe it. It was like I fell asleep standing up, and like I thought I was dead. Like low key, I thought I was dead. So I'm looking up, and it's like my life movie. Ironically, dang, that just hit me. It's like my life movie was playing before my eyes, and I saw myself back in Vacation Bible School. I saw myself at a time when I was 21, high on dope. And I remember opening the Bible and was like, it looked like the words on the page were breathing. I threw the Bible on the floor. I was like, yo, I took way too much mushrooms today. You know what I'm saying? I threw the Bible, and then it brought me to like the moment that I was standing in that arena, and my eyes opened up, and the only way to describe it, it felt like a grown man was standing on my shoulders. Like I could feel the weight of all my guilt for how I was living, contrary to how I was raised, just crushing me in that moment, And I left the industry, and I didn't do music like really for a minute. Like I would write a song here or there. It wasn't really until like 2015 when I was like, you know what, I'm a really do an album again. And that's when I dropped Before the Ceiling Falls, put no marketing behind it. Again, I wasn't really like on the level or serious like I am now about it, but I guess that would be considered my first album that kind of documents my spiritual journey to get to where I am now. So yeah, that was kind of the process of how it happened. I mean, I was freaked out. Honestly, I left the industry not knowing what happened. And I guess some people in the church would call that, I don't know, a prophetic vision or an open vision or something like that. But that's what happened to me. And that's why I left the music industry, if I'm being completely honest. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's an incredible story. That's deep.
Yeah, it was wild. It shook me. It shook me. So I went on this journey to find out, like, who do I believe God to be? I studied, the Quran. I studied, a little bit about Buddhism, just kind of everywhere. And then I had the Bible that I was studying. And after my studying, I came to the conclusion that for me, for my belief system, that Jesus was who I wanted to serve as Lord. And that's where I landed. So now it's like, how can I maneuver where I'm at now in the music industry, the mainstream, because I work in both the mainstream, and I do some stuff in the Christian hip hop realm as well, but I'm also doing some writing and stuff in the mainstream. I've been at Warner writing some songs and bouncing around here and there. So just trying to stay true to who I am. And that's where I've landed at. Like, okay, I can do music, but it's got to be true to who I am. It's got to be real to me. So, I'm not going to write, about drugs, guns, and violence and killing people unless it's from the perspective of sharing where I came from and my testimony, because that's not who I am. Like, nah, I don't do that. I don't go to the club. I don't chase girls around. So none of that's real to me. So I've had to learn how to maneuver and really lean on God to give me words and teach me how to write to an audience where I can reach people with what he's given me, even outside of the church.
Yeah, you have definitely done that in the most beautiful way. You've reached your tribe. And my next question to you about reaching your tribe, how important is it to remain and be yourself, your true authentic self in this industry?
Oh man, it's everything. And honestly, man, it was really hard. I won't name drop, but I was sitting in the room. I'm looking at all these plaques and all these Grammys, and with this major A&R, this major player, and man, the conversation that was had was great. It's, oh, we love the music, it's awesome, but it was the following statements of, you're a dope artist, you have a dope sound, but we're looking for more of the guns, the the club, the chasing the women, the all that stuff. Would you be willing? And it's like, no, like not for me. Because for me, life is about generations, and the generation that follows me and my heritage, which is my two sons. And what I'm trying to build is generational wealth, generational spiritual wealth, and physical wealth. But I don't want to do it on the strength of a lie. I want to do it on the strength of truth. So I could easily get out there, hop in the studio, talk about all the guns I'm busting, all the dope I'm using and selling. But that's building a legacy on a lie that my sons are going to have to go back, and I'm going to have to explain to them, oh, no, I was lying. That's not who I am. That's not, and plus I'm preaching a different narrative to them, trying to steer them away from that lifestyle. So it's like, it's kind of hypocritical for me to do that. And that's one thing I'm not willing to be, is a hypocrite. So it is 100% important that I'm authentic to who I am, because it's going to honor my family. It's going to honor the youth below me, and it's going to honor my kids, my wife, and those around me. So I got to stay honorable.
Yeah, definitely. You just brought like a new narrative to how people say, oh, you're selling your soul to do this and that. Well, you sell your soul when you're not being your true self. So you bypass that. You are protected.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Because the reality is I've already done that once, and it did. It got me to fame. It got me on the road with Wayne. It got me, doing all kinds of really cool stuff. But I'll be honest, like, I would argue at the pinnacle of my career then, when we were actually getting ready to have Cash Money do some real stuff for us, I felt so empty. Like, I felt, it's just like, you're there, you got your hands on that which you've been trying to achieve since I was 12 years old. I was already, when I was with Cash Money and running around with them, I was probably already 12, 13 years deep in the music already. Started when I was 12. And so I've worked so hard to get here. And now I'm here and it feels empty. It feels hollow. I'm still feel like I'm standing here alone, even with a team full of people around me. And that for me, it was just like, it's got to be more to this life than this. And that's when, boom, I had that moment in that amphitheater. And then I went on the journey to try to find what that more is. And that more has led me to having two amazing kids, a wife, a career that's been rebuilt. I'm doing numbers. Burn is #1 on the internet, CHH, BDS music charts right now. I've had a number. I dropped an album called Good Thing that was dedicated to my wife. It's based on a proverb: "He who finds a wife finds a good thing." 1822, and it hit #8 on iTunes out of all R&B music. So it's been crazy to see the restoration from the faithfulness, for real.
Wow. Speaking of seeing the restoration from the faithfulness, how was it like opening your first musical plaque for a Good Thing?
Oh, that was dope. That was cool. It was cool. It was nice. It's an accolade. It's cool. But it was more the story. It was more the journey to get there that made it special for me. Not even the actual plaque itself. It was great. Jewel Box Platinum, they did a wonderful job, and they do everybody in the industry. That's like the standard place that produces the plaques. They did a wonderful job, but for me, it was like, man, without that moment, it wouldn't have been the next moment. That wouldn't have been the moment that I was able to be standing in to even create the music that I created for this project about my wife, which ended up leading to this moment of me opening that journey. And it just really reminded me how important decisions are, because literally a single decision can turn into a habit, can turn into a lifestyle, can change the whole trajectory of your life. So, I mean, that can go either way. And I was just standing there in that moment like, wow, like This is good. This is good. I can finally say, I know I'm on the right path. I know I'm making the right decision. And even though what I believe may not be for everybody, or everybody may not believe the same thing, I know for me and mine, man, I'm doing what I need to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You doing the damn thing for you and your family. I can see it all in you,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I know you mentioned you have two boys, so let me ask you now, when you were a boy, a little boy, can you look at yourself and say, this is what I wanted to be. This is who I wanted to be when I was a kid. This is what I dreamt of doing. Can you say that now?
I can't. I wish I could, but I ain't like kids. I'm not being mean. I ain't like kids. I was the mean uncle, or the mean so I was adopted. I was adopted by my grandma. So I call my aunts and uncles my brothers and sisters, and my cousins, my niece. It's weird stuff. So I actually only have a couple, like one or two. My sister has a son, so I have a nephew. Yeah, I only have one like nephew, but I call a lot of my cousins my nieces and nephews because of the adoption thing. So yeah, I was mean to my little nieces and nephews, man. I was like, I don't like these kids. They snotty, they dirty, they dirty. I literally said, I don't never want no kids, honestly. But yeah, my life was way different though. Like what my son has, man, I didn't have this. Like I grew up in poverty and in the projects, a lot of gangs moving in. I mean, literally being before the street lights go out, gunshot, different friend, uncle, cousin, somebody dying. So, I mean, no, when I thought about my life back then, I was like, man, not only do I not like kids, even if I did, I wouldn't want them to have to live in this type of fear that I had to walk in as a little kid, not knowing if I was going to make it home through the tunnel if I got caught after dark. Yeah. So yeah, it was a very hard childhood. Ended up in a situation to where I was ended up. And this has been very transparent. I've never shared this on a platform like this, but yeah, I was like molested as a kid by some close family. So even that has messed up everything. It messed up a lot of stuff, the way I saw life. And again, I didn't ever want to put a kid through that, but it's been the restoration again of the mind, body, soul, past traumas, the hurt that God has done in my life has been able to allow me the heart change. Now I love kids. I love my boys. I love kids in general. And it's honestly really equipped me to raise them properly and protect them properly. Like me right now, like I don't let my kids go stay with anybody.
That's
like,
right.
People don't be watching my kids. Like I don't play that. You know what I'm saying? So until my kids are old enough to verbalize and to tell me and to know that if something's done to them, they can communicate to me without the false narrative or the lie that they're going to get in trouble for what somebody else did to them. Like, man, we're guarding our kids' purity real closely because of the situation that happened to me. And I'm not going to let that happen to those little boys. That was very traumatizing. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful ending, because now you get to protect your babies. You feel me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't play about mine.
Nope.
Like if you want to see me do something that's out of character, you mess with them, and it's a whole nother person probably gonna show up. I think it hasn't happened yet. In my mind, I'm like, I do something crazy for them folk. But I pray that we never even have to go there.
Yeah, that's right. You don't have to pass that threshold. You got it. Protect. Yeah.
Hey, it'll be the burn music video in real life. Like for real, I show up. Yo, what's good? You know.
Oh my God. Okay. Speaking of which, like, what's next for Deshawn White? Like, you know what I'm saying? You got any acting gigs coming up? What's good?
Man, I'm trying to get the homie Billy, Billy. I'm trying to get him to get me some acting gigs. So I know he's probably watching this. So Billy, if you hear this, I need you to get to work, bro. I need my role. I need to star in something. I don't care what it is. I'll be like walking on the street. I could be an extra. So yeah, I would love to get into that realm. And we're actually, all jokes aside, we are working on creating a reel for me to be able to present to some different agencies to try to start landing some acting. But what I've been doing in the background is working with another guy named Craig that Billy has connected me with, and just working on sync music. So still creating music intentionally for movies.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So we might see you on a big screen pretty soon.
You might. Hey, I have to come back when I land my first big screen gig. I'm gonna come back. We're gonna talk again. Then you can ask me how the acting world is, and I can give you the tea on that.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait for that interview. Period. Speaking blessings. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, Deshawn, thank you for coming on today's show. I actually had a great time talking to you about your life and what you've been through. I look forward to more projects coming from you, because you the truth, man. You really are.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, if I could say one thing to the listeners, to the audiences that's out there, check out the music. A lot of people, when they see my lifestyle, they think, oh, he's a Christian guy, blah, blah, blah. We can't relate to his music. That's not the case. The music that I've been putting out recently, it's honestly not created for church folks. It's not created for the Christian community per se. It's not directed toward them. It's music. It's good, solid, inspirational music, and can meet anybody, no matter what you believe, no matter what religion. It can meet you, and it can help you through a situation. So just give it a chance, and I think you will enjoy the experience of the Deshawn White project.
Oh yes, I can't wait, y'all. I love it. I love it.
I'll have to get you in the advanced copy whenever we get it fully laid out. I'll have to shoot you a link over.
I would love that, for real. Seriously.
Yeah. Hey, but you got to do me a review. You got to do a breakdown. Tell me post about what songs you really like and all your favorite stuff from the album.
I can do that for sure.
All right, bet. We good. I'm gonna get it over to you. Make sure you text me or email me your email address, your contact that I need.
I definitely will. I'll give that through Billy, and then he can pass it on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, cool. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Speak Your Mind Radio. Do not forget to go see this visual on my YouTube of Speak Your Mind Radio, okay? And listen to on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Listen Notes, and the list goes on. Wherever you get your podcast fix, you can hear this episode. All right, peace.
Peace.